I'm going to try to do something a little bit different tonight. My husband challenged me. So he asked me what I wanted to do tonight. And I said, well, I want to do a foundation meeting because it's been a minute. And a lot of you have heard my foundation meeting, and he has heard it many times. So he challenged me to do a foundation meeting in a way that I've never done it before. So that is my hope and goal tonight, is to do it in a way that you haven't heard before. Because most of you in here have heard my foundation meetings where I kind of talk about steps 1, 2, and 3. And last week we talked about the mind, right? A lot. We talked about, I can't even think. I'm still.
Movie.
Oh, the movie, yes, the movie, the past, the present, all that good stuff. Did that hit home for you guys? Because that hit home for me. And when my mind is sitting there playing that movie, it helps me to remember, oh my gosh, that's not right here, right now. That's just the movie playing in my head. I don't have to go there if I don't want to. And so a lot of these things that we teach, I hope you guys know, we're doing this ourselves too. We're not just, we're learning as we go. We're doing the same stuff that we're doing with you guys. So I don't know if you can tell what my lovely drawing is tonight, but this is kind of what I want to hit on. And if you can't tell what this is a heart. This is a brain and a brain. This is the subconscious and the conscious, okay? So I hope you guys are okay. We're going to turn out the lights in a minute. Not quite yet, but we're going to turn out the lights. So if anybody's afraid of the dark, speak up, but I will have a flashlight, okay? So it's just for illustration purposes. I'm a very visual person, and so it helps me to visualize something, just like with the movie, to visualize that movie. It helps me as well. That's why I always have a board, because I like to draw something. If we can just remember the board or remember the drawing, sometimes it'll help us remember the teaching. So it kind of all goes hand in hand. The more senses that we can use when we're learning something, the better. We have 5 senses, right? We have sight, hearing, smell, touch. So the more that we can use, the more when we're learning anything, when you're writing, it helps you because that's a physical sensation that you're doing. That's why they say, take notes, because it helps you remember these things. So same thing with the board. It helps us when we see something to do things. I want to start out by just asking a question. Jimmy's not in here, and I was going to use him as an example, baby Jimmy. But just imagine your own babies, or imagine any baby. And think of that baby just brand spanking new, right? And you're holding that baby. Here's a baby right here, okay? We got the baby. And we got this baby, right? And what is this baby? If you had some words, how perfect, right? If you had some words to describe baby Jimmy, how would you describe him? Innocent. What else? Fragile? Are they really fragile? No. Okay. They're pretty freaking strong, aren't they? They can withstand a lot. They just come out of the womb. What do you got?
New life.
New life?
Impressionable.
Impressionable. Pure. I like that one. What?
Annoying.
Annoying, maybe, yes. Cute. Adorable. Bratty, only you. Blank slate. What about love?
Yes.
Would you guys agree that newborns are powerful? For the most part, all they have to do is cry, and what do? We jump, right? They are powerful. For the most part, we can look at a newborn and have a whole different sense of how we feel in a moment, right? And if they smile, what do? We smile. Anybody ever had a phone, so a little toddler come up to you and have a fake phone, and did you answer it?
Yeah.
That's freaking powerful right there, right? And I know that's not a little bitty baby, But still, I mean, you think of these little ones, and they are joy. Do they bring joy? Like they are joy, right? You had some words for me?
Their joy, they're abundant in their love.
And,
Dependent on us.
huh?
They're dependent.
Dependent.
Not life
Ooh, I like that. Life changing.
They're a reflection of ourselves.
Reflection.
Also a reflection of God.
That's where I wanted to go with that. So, how many of us would describe ourselves this way?
Me.
You would. But you also said annoying. Oh, bratty. Okay, bratty.
Much better.
But when we describe ourselves, how many of us say, I am love? Have you ever said that about yourself? Have you ever said, I am powerful? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you describe yourself? Stubborn. I'm going to put bratty on here too, because babies don't come out of the womb bratty. I think I'm going to come over here and say strong. Proud. Unlovable. Oh, I got another one. How about worthy?
Worthy. Thank you. Worthy. Good.
Magical. I love that.
Funny.
Funny? I think we become funny. They are funny. But what is something else that you would describe yourself just automatically today? Worthless. What'd you say?
Ugly.
Ugly.
Loser.
Stupid.
Well, not that you do it today, but you have done it.
Let's say in our addiction. Huh?
Guarded.
Guarded. Man, these are rolling. Manipulative.
Dumb. Wow.
Man, they're too fast for me. We could keep going. Does anybody ever look at themselves and say, I'm fat?
I just said that. That's what I did. All the other ones I'm like, I'm gotten better at, but that one is.
My hair's too thin.
How do I put that? Not enough. How about that? Anybody
Not
ever
enough.
felt I'm not enough? I don't measure up. Right? I don't measure up to this, huh?
I don't fit in.
Sorry.
Oh man. How about I'm just a freaking idiot?
Yeah.
Anybody ever thought that?
I've been told that.
God, we could keep going, right? The ways that we talk to ourselves. Disgrace. Man. Okay, y'all getting the point here. We could keep going, right? We could keep going. Would we ever say this to this baby?
No.
Never. Could you imagine looking at this baby saying, you stupid, ugly baby. You freaking disgrace. You're unworthy. God, this turned out perfect. So thank your daughter for this. We would never do that, would we? But we look in the mirror and what do? We go through life and what do? Man, I'm a freaking idiot. I am a loser. I am whatever. I don't measure up. I will never be that. I am not enough. I am worthless. So how do we get from here to here? The world, right? So that's what I want to kind of illustrate tonight. So Jody, will you get the lights for me? I'm going to use this flashlight to illustrate that example, because when we're born, this is us, right? We are a light of God, are we not? So, and everybody can see my light, right? And what happens? I'm born and I'm born this. This is who I am. I am this light. I am this light of love. Y'all follow me? Can you see Tammy? Do you need me to guide you? But do you see how my light can guide her? My light influences everybody around me, doesn't it? Especially if you're in the dark. Okay, so my light is shining, and what happens is, who said it? The world happens, right? And something happens in my life, and somebody says, you are ugly. And what happens? Dang. Dang. Dang, you are stupid. What? Do I still have a light? I do. Man, she sure is pretty. I'm not as pretty as she is. Man, he left me for her. I must not be worthy. Now follow me? Is my light still there? It's still there, but what happens? It gets covered up. So we go through life and we're trying to find our light again, right? We're trying to find our light. We're trying to find the love and the joy and the acceptance and the completeness of who we are. Because aren't we whole and complete when we come into this world? And then things start to happen and it starts to cover our light up. It doesn't go anywhere. So we're searching and searching and searching, right? And then I meet a boy. Do you need some light? And a boy has a light. You got your light, right? So what happens is, boy comes along, he's got a light, and he shines his light on my light. And it starts to make me feel like, oh, I do have a light. I do matter. I am lovely. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am worthy. But what happens when his light goes away? What happens when his light goes away? It's no longer shining on my light. It's no longer exposing my light. So then what happens is it gets worse, right? And can't we say the same thing for what happens with drugs? Let's say we're feeling this way and we're looking for anything to feel better. So drugs give me a little bit of confidence. Drugs give me a little bit of boldness. Drugs give me a little bit of worth. And what happens when it goes away? Same thing, I'm left. And now I'm left, and I went from the light to this, and now I'm searching for the light again. Jody, will you hit the lights for me? Oh, no, hold on 1 second before you do that. So what we say in here every week and what we try to get at is, and what we were just saying is, I was born for this, okay? This is what I was created for. Every single person in this room was created to shine their light in this world, to help other people when they need to get where they need to go, right? But if my light is dimmed, I can't really help anybody to their seat or help anybody with their light, can I? So, and what happens is, typically, boy and girl get together, they both got a light like this, and they're trying really hard to shine. They're trying really hard, and I can see his light a whole lot more than I can see mine. But what happens is when we start to do the steps, is we start to uncover what's blocking us. We start to uncover the fear. We start to uncover the resentment. We start to uncover the resentment or the anger and the hate. And we start to uncover what's blocking us. We never really stopped shining. We just got blocked by the world, right? Okay, you can do the light. Let there be light.
Let there be light.
So what I wanted to get at is, you know, I talk a lot about a foundation meeting not being able to differentiate the true from the false, right? And a lot of times we can look at that in our addiction and see that. Like, my truth is, if I drink, I'm going to get drunk. Or if I use, I'm going to get high. The false is this time is going to be different. But let's dig a little bit deeper. This is my truth, right? This is who I am. And what's the false? All this stuff that the world tells me. All the stuff that I have allowed to be true. So with that being said, the heart, the way we feel, is the root of our subconscious. What is your subconscious? It is everything in your mind. It's like 80-90% of your brain. When I walk across this floor, I don't have to think about doing it. Why? Because it's in my subconscious. When I speak words, I don't have to think about it because it's in my subconscious. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the things that are rooted and programmed in me. And then up here is my conscious brain. That's the thing that sits there and turns nonstop. That's what we were talking about last week. The difference between being in our conscious brain and our subconscious brain. There's a big, big difference. And so how do I get from this rat wheel that's saying all this stuff to the subconscious, and how do I reprogram that? Well, we talked last week about meditation. How when we sit quietly, it kind of calms some of this stuff, right? It doesn't make it stop because this is made to work. It's a robot. It's going to keep going and going and going. I can probably guide these thoughts and I can direct them, but what keeps me going back into addiction time and time again is what's programmed in this subconscious brain. So what happens is I'm born this way, everything is wonderful, and I have felt unworthy. I have felt dumb. I have felt ugly. I have felt something, and guess what happened? It told my subconscious this is the way it is. And because it's here, it will come back here time and time again. This is why we feel so divided sometimes. Have you ever felt divided? Like, I feel ugly, but I know I'm not. Or I feel unworthy, but I know I'm not. But why do I still feel it, and why do I still act like it? Because it's here in this subconscious. It's here in this place that has to be reprogrammed. So a lot of things in recovery are not just about learning something new. It's about unlearning this old stuff, right? And so how do you learn anything? How do you learn to ride a bike? Once you learn how to ride it, do you have to think about riding, or do you just do it?
Just do it.
But the way you did it was how? Repetition, 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 repetition. How'd you learn how to walk? Repetition, 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 repetition. How'd you learn how to talk? Repetition. And you messed up. You messed up. You messed up along the way, right? You didn't just start walking and you knew how to walk. You got up and you fell down. And then you got back up and you fell down. And you got back up and fell down. So the same thing happens in our brain. We are going to mess up. We're not going to get it right. But we're going to do repetition, repetition. And that's why we come in each week like, have you meditated? Have you sat down for 4 minutes a day? Have you done this? Because the more you do that, the more you're going to start reprogramming this, right? Because when you sit still for those 4 minutes, just like you did in here, that felt pretty good, right? And you start here. You're starting with that feeling of, all is well in the world. All is okay. Maybe I am okay. Maybe I'm not as ugly as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not as worthless as it can start that small, right? But you start feeling it. When you feel it, what's it going to do to the subconscious? It's going to change the subconscious. We can change this all the time. And this is what I see. We change a lot. We get a lot of head knowledge, especially around the steps. We memorize the steps. We memorize the book. We get a lot of head knowledge when it comes to recovery. However, if we don't get here and here, it's just head knowledge, right? And what is it that we're trying to get? We're trying to get a spiritual experience, a psychic change. Well, this is why we can know in our brain the right answer, but still feel divided. Y'all follow me? Is this tracking with y'all? Because I didn't have a clue how this was going to come out. So I'm glad it's tracking. So if I can't differentiate the true from the false, like we talk about that with our addiction, if I can't differentiate the true from the false, I'm in trouble, right? Well, why is this any different? Do you need your baby?
Yeah.
So, and why is this so important? Why is this so important? Because I can know in my head all day long the answer. I can know the knowledge, but I can feel divided. And if I feel divided, what am I going to do? I'm going to follow this time and time and time again. Why? Because it's at the root. So, the brain is very interesting, isn't it? Hi, honey. Very interesting thing, and I am fascinated by the brain. So if you are feeling divided at all on anything, I know this, but I feel this. I know that, but this. Y'all ever do that? You feel divided on things? This is where meditation can help you. What's the truth? Because the truth is, we can feel all this, and this feels true. I can feel very ugly. I can feel dirty. I can feel unpure. I can feel like a loser. And that's going to ring more true than anything else in me, even though I know I'm not. Y'all ever seen that list of who I am in Christ? You are worthy, you are loved, you are all these things. I would read that over and over and over. And I got it here. I know. We got to, if y'all knew how many times I heard each week, I know. You do. You know. But do you know? Do you know? Big difference. My daughter says that to me all the time. I know, Mom. You don't know crap, right? You don't know crap. Because if you knew it, you wouldn't do it. But that's why we do it. You know, the Bible says that too. I know I should go this way, but I'm still going this way. Why? Because of this right here. Because I can't differentiate the true from the false. This is my true. I am light. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am smart. I am a child of God. I am pure. It took me a long time to feel pure, especially with the lifestyle that I had. There was nothing pure in my life at all, right? Especially the things I did. But that's my truth. It took me a long time to feel it. So how did I feel it? I reinforced it and reinforced it and reinforced it. How many times have you said these things to yourself? Can you count? So if that's how many times it took for that to be reinforced, think about how many times it's going to take for these things to be reinforced. So if you can't differentiate the truth from the false, don't you think it would be wise to know what the truth is? How can you reinforce something that you don't know what it is? So it starts with the list, right? It starts with what is true about me. What is true? And so we got a good start here, right? The who I am in Christ is a good start. Those are good things. But just like meditation, if we don't do it, does it benefit us? So coming in here each week, you guys are getting a lot of knowledge up here. You guys are learning some things. But it's got to go from here and it's got to travel. Because if it doesn't, all we're giving you is head knowledge and it's for nothing other than I know. I know. So for myself, I had to know this for myself first. Okay? So imagine in our relationships, like we were showing earlier with our lights, right? What happens is a lot of times we're coming together as two very broken people, right? We got our light shining, but we got a lot of filters over it, and he's got a lot of filters over his, and then we come together, but we're not able to really connect. We're not able to make it work. We're not able to do much of anything because there's so much in the way. If I believe that I'm ugly and stupid, how am I going to act with him? I'm going to act ugly and stupid. If I feel worthless, how am I going to act with him? Worthless. And so, and vice versa. If he feels that he's got his own filters and feeling the same way, how's he going to act with me? Same way. So we're coming together.
Let's dialogue that real quick. Okay, so she feels doesn't feel pretty, right? Unlovable, right? And then we get together. What's the romance first like when you first get together?
Awesome.
It's amazing, right?
Oh, come stand up here so you can be recorded too.
No. When we first get together, all of a sudden this unlovable person, I'm shining what on her? And she's loving it, right? Right. So now, okay, and then I'm feeling a sense of worth as a man. She's accepting me as a man, right? I don't believe that in my soul, but she's going, wow, honey, you're so handsome. You're so amazing. You drive a great car. You give me great dinners. Oh, I do drive a great car. But,
Wow.
she's just building up my very shallow ego, right? Because I don't feel worth anything inside here, right? So now, and I'm just going to put me on the spot here. Now, because she makes me feel good, you know what I have? have an expectation on her. See, now every time I'm with her, she has to make me feel good. And so I'm just sitting there waiting for that feel good juice to come in this way, right? And I make her feel pretty, right? And there's
And I'm
one,
doing the same thing.
and she's doing the same thing, right? And then there's one time she wears a cool outfit and I don't say anything. And she got dressed up for me and I didn't recognize it, right? And then I put on a new cologne and she didn't say, honey, you smell amazing. We're fighting, right?
Y'all been
You know
there?
what I'm talking about. We're fighting. We're fighting because I'm dependent on her to feel okay in my own skin. She's dependent on me because our lights are so dim. You know, my little light's dim, her little light's dim. They're so dim. We just can't get it together. That's why it's so important. And I know you've never heard us say this, that we don't get in relationships when our light is like this. Because there's a sense of codependency that's never going to work. And if it does work, it's going to work in a very miserable way, right? That's why we encourage, let's take a little time to get in recovery, to slowly start peeling this away. And I'm peeling it away and she's peeling it away. And all of a sudden, she's an independent light. I'm an independent light. We come together, it's really, really bright, right? But then when we separate, she's still bright and I'm still bright. I don't need her to be bright. She doesn't need me to be bright, right? And that's all through the recovery process. You'll follow me? So that's what, we don't feed that energy off one another. Because once we're okay in our own skin, step one, we're restless, irritable, and discontent unless I can find a drink, unless I can find some loving from her, unless I can find a drug. I'm restless, irritable, and discontent. I need her to feel okay. She needs me to feel okay. I need a drug to feel okay. But once we get through these steps, I'm not restless, irritable, discontent anymore. Why do I need a drug? Why? Why do I need to have codependent relationship? That need's just not there anymore. So that's why we focus so much on getting recovered. May I step into one more area?
Please.
Thank you. Who likes whipped cream? I love whipped cream, right? Take a lactate pill. I love whipped cream, right? So we come in here, we get into the steps, and we get this self-knowledge. We begin to learn a lot. It's like having whipped cream, right? But if my heart is still poo-poo, you ever had whipped cream on poo-poo? Right? Doesn't make any sense, does it? You put lipstick on a pig, it's what? Still a pig. Right? It's still a pig. Right? So we can get all this really pretty. I can look in the mirror and tell myself how beautiful I am and all that kind of stuff. But if this isn't percolating down here, if this isn't working down here, if this isn't healing down here, this is just lipstick on the pig. That's all it is. Come on, Boots. Really? It's just lipstick on the pig. So in step 2, what are we doing? Try to believe that there's something out there, right? And I want to believe if something out there, I want it to believe that it's like this. The something I believe in looks like this. So I'm turning my poo-poo heart over to something like this. So by process of elimination, once I go through the process of recovery, I'm going to be more like this because this is what I'm believing in. And when a thought, a belief, over and over again, a thought over and over again is a belief, right? So I'm going to start believing in this right here, trusting in this right here, going through the steps process, and I'm slowly going to assimilate from here to here through the heart up. So that when I do look in the mirror and say I have an abundant life, there's not that incongruency that she was talking about, right? You were talking about, you ever look at yourself in the mirror, oh man, I look great. Just a fat slob, right? Like, come on. Really? That's lipstick on the pig. I'm full of joy. No, I'm miserable. Just took a needle out of my arm. Right? There's no joy there. So But once I do the second step and what I believe in, I'm going to start going in this direction. Does that make sense? Thank you for being my codependent partner.
He's great.
Codependency no more.
We're starting that soon, so that's wonderful that he already hit on that. So back to step one, that's exactly, he nailed it in that when we're in our addiction, when we're out there, or even when we're dry. Anybody ever been dry? Yeah. Anybody ever tried quit smoking? How's it going, Alyssa? But anybody ever stop? Or how do you start to feel?
Irritable.
Restless, irritable, discontent, aggravated. I'm going to hurt somebody. And isn't that the state that our heart kind of lives in? I don't know about you guys, but that started for me long before my addiction hit me, right? I was restless, irritable, and discontent long before I started drinking, long before I started using, long before I started relationships. I was a little restless, irritable, and discontent. I was angry. Why? Because the world happened, right? The world happened at a young age for me. The world happened, and I, at a very young age, felt insecure, scared, alone, abandoned. I could go on and on about how I felt long before the addiction happened. So what happened is, you know what? I'm feeling all these things. I'm living in this lie. And like he said, what am I looking for? A sense of ease and comfort. That's all I'm looking for. And some of us get it in control. Some of us get it in relationships. Some of us get it in cigarettes. Some of us get it in alcohol. And some of us get it in all the above, right? Pills, meth, coke, ecstasy, acid, whatever you got, whatever you got. What are we looking for? For this to change, right? I'm just looking for this to change. And I don't know about you guys, but I could go from scared and insecure and full of fear, take a drink, and I am 10 foot tall and bulletproof, right? I am no longer restless. I am calm and relaxed. I am A-okay. Total psychic change. Total psychic change. I could go from the false to the truth in no time, like that. Y'all follow me? And isn't that the way? We could use relationships to do the same thing. We can use just about anything. Sometimes we can just use technology just to try to forget all this, right? And we get a sense of ease and comfort. That's all I'm ever looking for in life, right? That ease and comfort. That's all we want. That's all I wanted. I don't know about you guys, but today I'm addicted to peace. That's all I care about. I just want peace. I don't want drama. I don't want chaos. I don't want fighting. I don't want anything. I just want peace. And I have learned the hard way that I am not going to get it through drugs and alcohol. Or what? Or at your job. How many of us use a job? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Anybody ever been a workaholic? Yeah. We could use anything, right? Anything to feel better. Performance is a good thing to make me, now I'm worthy. When I perform, now I'm worth something instead of I'm just worth something, right? And learning how to stand in this truth could be the most powerful thing you ever do. And step one says lack of power is our dilemma. You want power? You learn who you are. You want power? You stand in who you are. You want power? You learn that you are powerful. You do have a light. You do have a purpose. You do mean something to everybody around you and everybody you touch, everybody you lock eyes with. Imagine that everybody you touch, you change. One way or the other. For the good or the bad. Doesn't matter which one, but you will change them one way or another. You just don't realize it. I didn't realize it in my addiction. But you learn that truth. You learn who you are. And I promise you, your life is going to change and your life is going to be different. That's my soapbox for the day. So, woo! Y'all ever know somebody that you can see their light, you can see their potential, see their worth, and they can't? And no matter how much you try to get them to see it, they can't see it. Why? Because all this is covering it up. And that's the thing, this has become their truth. Become their truth. And we as light workers, we as people who are in this world to shed light, our job is to help them get this stuff out of the way, right? However we can. And we can do that through the steps. We can do it through love. We can do it through a number of different, just being present, just being somebody at the window who smiles. I mean, it's powerful. Love covers everything. Everything. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. You got it.
Oh,
You're just
trying to move my fingers. Well, when we're born, isn't that our movie right there? That's what we see. Isn't that why we're laughing all the time as little kids and kind of, internal giggles and all that kind of stuff, internal smiles? So that's what we feel on the inside. So that's what we're projecting in our life.
What we're percolating.
While we're percolating. And then through growing up and listening to people and all that kind of stuff with the hard drive that's blank, the subconscious hard drive that's blank, we're told this stuff and like, okay, my movie goes from here to here. Now I'm living in this and I get stuck there.
That's all we know. And nobody can change it for us either. Which means we have to do what? We have to be proactive. We have to be the ones. Nobody got me from this place to this place other than me and God. It didn't take him. It didn't take anyone else. It was me and God. And me finally starting to believe. It says in step 2, we came to believe. What if I came to believe this was true? What if I came to believe that I am worthy? What if I came to believe that I do matter? What if I came to believe I have a purpose? What if I came to believe that there's more to this world than what I've been believing?
Well, I came to believe that.
You did come to believe this. Through what? A choice.
Well, as a kid, you don't have much of a choice. You hear and all that kind of stuff. But some of it is a choice as I get older. If I came to believe that, I can come to believe that.
We agree to it, right? We agree to it. Oh, you're ugly. Oh, you're right. I'm ugly. I am ugly, right? That is kind of a choice. It may be a one we don't even realize we're making, right? Because just like our subconscious, it just probably filtered through so many times, we didn't even realize we were making it. In the same way, so we got to do the opposite, right? We got to do the opposite. I got to come to believe in this. It took me a while. I mean, I came to believe in God pretty quick. I came to believe, and I believe more now than I ever have. But I'll tell you what, going from here to here, it's been the hardest journey I've ever done. And that's when they talk about going from here to here. That's what they're talking about. That 18 inches, it's the hardest journey you'll ever make. But you know what? You start to be intentional about it, and you start to actually apply it and do something. It'll be the biggest journey you ever make. It'll change your life faster than anything else. Knowing who you are, standing firm in who you are. Because if I know that I'm worthy, I'm going to walk in worth. I'm not going to settle for anything less. I'm not going to settle for somebody hitting me. I'm not going to settle for somebody talking down to me. I'm going to set my boundaries. I'm going to know who I am. And I don't have to fight. I don't have to throw punch anybody anymore to make that come across, right? I don't have to show them. I can just walk it. So what I believe, I'm going to walk. And that's going to apply in my job. It's going to apply in my friendships, my relationships, in my parenting, and everything that I do. Talk about power. And if lack of power is my dilemma, what do I want? I want freaking power, man. I want as much power as I can get. I love it. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. That's all we got.